What is the best FOV for competitive gaming aim? When it comes to competitive gaming, one question that often arises is about the best field of view for aiming. Understanding this can significantly impact your gameplay. Field of view, often abbreviated as FOV, determines how much of the game world you can see on your screen at any given time. A higher FOV allows for better peripheral vision, which is essential in fast-paced games. This means you can spot enemies quicker and react faster. However, there is a balance to strike. If the FOV is set too high, it can create a fisheye effect, distorting visuals and making targets appear smaller. This can hinder your aiming accuracy. In tactical shooters like Rainbow Six Siege, many professional players prefer a vertical FOV around 90. Values between 80 and 85 are also common. A higher FOV, like 90, is beneficial for players with strong reflexes and good mouse control. It allows for quicker movements and better situational awareness. However, if you find tracking targets at mid to long range challenging, a slightly lower FOV, around 75 to 85, might help make targets appear larger and easier to hit. In other first-person shooter games such as Call of Duty Warzone, players using a mouse and keyboard often choose a horizontal FOV between 105 and 115. This wider FOV helps in tracking opponents at a distance without making targets too small. While higher values are possible, they can lead to performance issues and visual discomfort. Different games calculate FOV differently. For example, Rainbow Six Siege uses vertical FOV, while Warzone uses horizontal FOV. This difference means players need to adjust their settings based on the game they are playing. In Battlefield V, players typically prefer a slightly wider FOV than the default of 70, usually between 75 and 80. This range balances visibility while minimizing distortion. Lower FOV settings can zoom in the view, making enemies appear larger and easier to aim at. However, this reduces peripheral vision, which can be a disadvantage in competitive scenarios where awareness is key. To optimize your aim through FOV, it is wise to experiment within a range of 75 to 115, depending on the game and your comfort level. Starting with a moderate FOV, like around 90 vertical or 105 horizontal, can be a good baseline. Adjust based on how well you can spot and track targets. Also, consider your hardware performance. Higher FOV values requiring more processing power and can lower frame rates, which may negatively impact your aim responsiveness. Combining FOV settings with mouse sensitivity and monitor distance can also affect how you perceive target size and movement. Sitting closer to the screen or using larger monitors can change your perceived FOV, influencing your aim. Avoid very low FOV values in competitive play. A narrow view limits your situational awareness, which is vital in esports. The best FOV for competitive gaming aim is all about balance. It should be wide enough to provide good peripheral vision, but not so wide that targets become too small or distorted. Most esports professionals find their sweet spot between 80 to 90 vertical FOV or 105 to 115 horizontal FOV, depending on the game and their personal aiming style. Adjusting your FOV alongside sensitivity and setup can greatly improve your aiming performance in competitive play.